It's been a while since I filmed. I think I'm not filming in like 3.5 weeks.
Fucking hell,
3.5, 4 weeks, yeah. Today, we've got the main man, Dan Barrientos, aka ScranWithDan as well.
That's it.
Before we get into it, mate, we've not spoke about how fucking mental was Saturday.
Pretty mental, to be fair, yeah. Definitely one of the best.
I've been in for 4 years and like...
Yeah, literally, like, even out of all the Burton events and that, it's...
Mate, I honestly thought like this gaff, like, I was speaking to Josh about it, like it proper hit me out of the blue. Like I knew it would be a good year,
yeah,
but like I didn't expect it to be the fucking...
Well, when we moved out of Burton, I was like thinking it's going to definitely be different compared to those 2 years we had there, but it's definitely different in a good way.
Oh yeah. I think it's hard to compare because like Burton was just fucking a huge fucking mansion basically, and there was just so much going on all the time, but downstairs is literally like such a... It's like a club,
it's like
mate.
A club.
It's just like a club. The love scene and everything.
Everything, yeah, it's sick.
It's fucking mental, like, and I'm not saying that, like I said, because it's our own gaff, but like it was fucking like it was one of the best gaffs I've been to.
Well, like somebody who said the other day, like, it was like I think I seen that blue and purple. The kitchen,
like 4 or 5 times, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It kind of worked. I didn't realise because at one point we had obviously the light next to the dryer where the lights were around the wall, and we had the lights at the back, and we had like every single light was different. Yeah. But it lit up the room so well.
You know, I think when it comes to events and stuff like that, as much as the music and stuff and the venue is important, lighting is definitely like key for me personally.
Yeah, I think like there's so many elements to a good event. Like you said, it's not just the music; it's everything that comes with it, and that's why
production. People enjoy production as well, like as much.
It's like it's like Eric Prydz. People really
exactly,
truly like I like me personally. His music is my style, but I wanted to go see him because of the production show. And I think that's the same with a lot of people. People go to see the light show, and like I said, it's the whole production. But let's get into it, Dan. How ScranWithDan? How did that come about?
Okay, so I've been into cooking for a long time because I started off when I was 16. I started off as a pot wash, and then I think
was this back home? Yeah,
and then at that time I was like going to college doing IT, but I also started getting into cooking a bit in my second job. So after 1 year of IT, I just thought, why not just do catering instead?
Was it when you were pot washing? Did you just like see the kitchen element and was like?
Well, no, it was because it was a Chinese restaurant. Like it was just my first job, so I was like, all right, I'll just go for pot wash because I knew the people that owned it. So and then at the same time, it was like my mum was really bad at cooking. Sorry if you watch it, but it wanted me to like get a bit better at cooking because and I just started making like really basic stuff, but then. When I went into doing catering at college, we got taught so much stuff, and it was like a good experience, and I had good tutors. So
it makes such a difference when you have good teachers.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know a lot of people that say they've done catering and they're like, oh, I didn't really learn much or whatever. But back home in the lakes, like we had decent chefs and stuff that were like the tutors.
So was this like your last year before you moved to these then?
Nah. I did 4 years.
Before college, yeah.
So at college I did 1 year of IT, then I did 2 years of catering. Still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did one more. I did my final year as IT, just so that I could go to uni. Yeah. I needed like the what do you call it?
The UCAS.
Use it UCAS. Yeah. UCAS so I did that, and then while I was doing that, I was still like cooking it as like a job. So I knew, but then when I came to uni, I was like, right, I don't want to do cooking because it was stressful job. You know what I mean? All your time's kind of like
it's a chaotic like environment as well. Like I've got I don't know if I make Phil's watching, but I've known Phil for a long time, and he's been like a chef in a pretty like good amount of busy high quality restaurants.
Yeah. And
he says like anytime he just speaks to him about a job when he was working there, it was just like work in the kitchen is so stressful.
And it's like at the same time I was also starting to get into DJing in my second year of college, so I just kind of like at the weekends it would be me working Friday all night, then getting up doing a split shift on a Saturday, and then going straight to the club on like a Saturday night and play for however long, and then I wouldn't work on a Sunday, which was all right.
Fucking hell, I've been heavy if you were working on the Sunday as well.
Both of my hobbies, my job and my hobby, revolved around like just working at night time and like really not getting much sleep at the weekends. Sort of thing. And then I would like go to college sort of through the week. But I was always like just cooking
Just cooking. Were you just like cooking for yourself, cooking for mates? Like
mainly cooking for myself, just learning. And then I just used to sit up and watch endless amounts of like YouTube videos, and you know, like Binge with Baba. She's like a guy that does all these like recipes and stuff. And I thought, well, I want to do that. So I started just on my music account. I was just doing like little recipes and stuff, and then a lot of people sort of messaged me saying, "Oh, you should, you know, maybe just mimic a different
page,
Instagram
so separate."
page." Yeah. So I did.
ScranWithDan is a fucking brilliant name for it, by the way.
So it was weird because I put out a thing saying, "Oh, I don't know what to call it," and then I sort of did like a questions thing on my story, and then
that's what I did for mine.
Yeah, and then a few people just kind of give me good ideas. There was like dishes with Dan. There was, you know, eating Scran with like DJ Dan. You know, there's like But then I was like, well, like Scran, and then I was like, well, I could try and, because it was like, I was just trying to think of what would like rhyme with Dan, because it was what everybody seemed to think. And then I think it was like a blend of two names. And
it's so hard, like when it's like your own name, like you don't want to overthink it, but at the same time you don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I found naming my name is like simplicity is fucking so, like it goes such a long way. Like you don't want to overcomplicate anything. And like presuming like, you know, ScranWithDan, it's pretty, like I don't mean in a bad way, but it is a simple name, but like it's because it rolls off the tongue and people are going to remember it because it's easy.
Yeah, well, I think that was like the one where I said it, and I was like, no, that's like, it's got a nice like ring to it. But I was thinking, do I want to do it because Scran's kind of a word that I think only that.
It's a northern, it's a northern thing.
So I'm very limited. But to be honest, mate, like I think even some people that are from other like different places and stuff, like that, it's just, they kind of they see what the word's about, and then I just.
Well, as soon as you look at the Instagram, you see food kind of like straight away. To be fair, I got into, my mum and dad always loved cooking. So my dad especially, he's a big, really good cook.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly better than my mum. Probably not like me saying that, but my mum's still good though. But I remember like one of the first films that I watched, and you're probably going to agree with. It came out in 2014. Was Chef.
You know. Mate, you know what, that was another thing that was like a big inspiration for me.
They filmed it so well.
Yeah, because it was like I've been big into films, and I remember my mate recommended it to me, saying, "Oh, have you seen Chef?" And I was like, "No," because at that time I was like big into my cooking still. And he was like, "Right, watch it," and then I watched it, and then I was like, "No, I really want to like properly do this." But like, yeah, I think for me definitely, if I was gonna just keep into cooking and stuff, it would be the social, like this, you know, like the YouTube, the Instagram kind of side, because as much as I like cooking at my job, it does get to the point where I like.
That's what I mean. That it goes back to when I was speaking to my mate Phil. He was saying that the environment was so stressful and sometimes even toxic that like he almost hated cooking food. And since he stopped being a chef, like for like the last 3 years, he cooks more and he enjoys his cooking a lot more.
Well, it's true what they say. Like when you've been working in the kitchen for however 11 hours, 10, whatever, you get home, you don't want to cook. Even the next day, if you got it off, you don't want to cook.
Because all you're doing at work is fucking just burning yourself out. And also, I can imagine like the one thing about cooking is like you want to be creative and you want to have your own thing to it. And when you're working at restaurants, like, well, there's a lot of places that don't let you allow I can't even speak today. There's a lot of places that won't allow you to have the creativity to do it, and then there are some places that will let you have a bit more imagination. But at the same time, that then comes with having more experience and then being able to, like a head chef for example, he can design his own menu, but people who are just starting off aren't going to have the power to dictate what's going to go on the menu.
In my second job, it was like a little cafe deli sort of place, but because it wasn't a chain and like it was it was just local. It was local. It was like a local business. We did kind of, we were actually able to kind of more free reign over the menu and stuff. You know, it would change quite often. We had specials, it was soup of the days. So in that aspect, like working somewhere like that, it's definitely good if you wanted to get creative, which is kind of like, for me, I think it's better when you've got something different to kind of look forward to on a menu, instead of when you go somewhere, you're not buying the same thing all the time. But I feel like if you have got like a special or whatever, it's good for the customers because then it's something fresh for them to kind of, you know, have. But then for the chefs, it's like you're not cooking the same stuff all the time. So, and then we had like cakes and stuff, so there was kind of all that, but I wasn't really big into my baking at that time. Like, only recently I got into my baking because it's just. My mum
loves the baking. To be honest, my dad was more like the savoury. Savoury side. I wasn't sure if I got that. That's questioning myself.
I think when you're doing savoury foods and like dishes, you can be a little bit more heavy-handed with stuff. But when it comes to baking, it's literally just you've got to every single like
element
of it has to be bang on, like in like weight and stuff like that.
That was also the first thing I started. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's right.
When I was at school, it's kind of probably the same thing that you were doing at college, like catering. It was called home economics.
Yeah.
Back in Malta, so it's like basically just like a course where you learn like about cooking and that, but you also learn about like living around the house and just basic shit. But I was actually like one of like, I think there must have been at least like 30 people from all the classes, and I think I was maybe one of 4 lads that took it.
Yeah.
But like I properly loved it, like especially learning how to cook like from the basics, and then I think even coming to uni and being like independent, obviously you have to cook for yourself. I think like that definitely got me more into it. My first year I was fucking so shit. Like I literally used to eat freezer food all the time, like bare minimum simple fucking chuck pasta in for 10 minutes and have a homemade sauce add to it, and that's how you live in your first year.
To be honest, even though I actually had like the chef knowledge in first year of uni, I was still living like a student, I think, in first year.
But go on, sorry. No.
And then like, because I didn't really have the money to like buy all the nice ingredients, I kind of didn't really want to do it as much. So there was a time where I started my ScranWithDan before I came to uni, but there was a part of it like time where I wasn't really active on the page and stuff like that.
You've got ScranWithDan now for 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, so like, when did I start? 2017 I started ScranWithDan. No, I started university, and I think it was that summer. Yeah. So what's that? 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
So and then when I got my job in second year, I had more money to kind of be able to, because for me, if I'm gonna put it on the page, I think it needs to be
a bit more higher echelon.
Yeah, like I could do like the student editions and stuff, but
if that's not what you want to do though, like you want to like.
I like having like all of the ingredients, like even if it's just like the parsley on the top or the garnish and anything like that. I feel like it's really important, especially when you're putting stuff on social media.
Yeah, to make it look perfect look.
Yeah,
it's mad though. Like I don't even think, like obviously it is a talent to cook, but at the same time, like so many people, like sometimes I made food and they're like, oh, like this tastes so nice, but it was so hard to make. Most food, like it honestly doesn't take a lot. Like all you got to do is be patient with it and just
it is a lot of patience with cooking, and like
anyone can do it. I obviously do think anyone that can.
But I think a lot of people stress about cooking because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But if you were to see, for me, it was like,
and people are afraid to experiment as well. Like I literally, like when I'm cooking, like I don't really follow exactly, like obviously for some recipes you have to follow it pretty exact, but at the same time that's what cooking's all about. It's about trying things and just fucking figuring out yourself.
That was the aspect of my page that I think people love the most, is the fact that I did all the tutorials on my story, then put them on my highlights, but I tried to make it in like a simple way, even though I was still doing like all of the techniques and stuff that I'd learned in college. I was still like wanting to make it so people would like be able to follow it, because I think when people read a recipe and they're just reading text, it's kind of like you can't really visualize how to actually,
especially on cookbooks when it's just writing.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you've got a visual aspect and you can see someone doing it like on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever, it definitely helps. I think it definitely helps. Like for me anyway, if I can see it being done, then I can do it.
Yeah.
But it's the same with music, or any sort of hobbies like that I've done in the past. It's like a visual aspect is definitely really important when it comes to learning. And
as well, doing it yourself, like just giving it a go, practice. That's obviously the best thing that you can do in any aspect, is just keep on practicing, because you're only going to get better the more you do it.
Yeah.
It's funny because you've done like your music and the way you're going. It's a pretty high level, but I still feel like more people know you for, well, at least round here maybe, like people know you for ScranWithDan.
When dance music is definitely more of a niche.
Yeah.
But then like there's a lot of people that don't like it, and because it's like more of like a music preference, but everyone likes food.
Do you think
tell me someone that you know that's like
not a foodie?
Yeah. Or even just on the basic level of people love food. So I think audience wise it's more of a broader range of people. Do
you think ScranWithDan got so big as well because of like the 2 years of Bert and like cooking for everyone?
Yeah,
and then
honestly, like beforehand it was like I kind of knew the majority of my followers were everyone from back home, because that's where I first started it. But as soon as you've got other people from loads of different parts of, Manchester, Yorkshire, even like some people, like I've got followers through my music page as well.
Yeah.
So there's like people, like it's kind of more like, instead of it just being people that I know, friends of friends, it's like people that I've had following from maybe like, for example, there's someone in Madrid that I know through music, but now he follows it, and then he did a recipe, put it on his story, and then now I've got little, you know, then people that
it's mad how it grows.
Yeah, it is, and then like they probably don't know what Scran means, but it's
they understand it's food. Yeah, they understand it's food.
Yeah,
it's mad because like I think as I got to know you, because I've known you for like what probably a year or two. Yeah, probably like 2 years. Yeah,
Bert and you were kind of in the second year. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, we're in the first year. It was definitely my second year.
And
but
then when you moved into this house, it was like we got a lot more closer.
But I've always known you to like make like banging food for everyone, and obviously we've done it a few times as well. What's like your favourite thing that you've been able to cook on, like not maybe for either for ScranWithDan as a page, or like the proudest thing you've cooked for like any of your mates?
Yeah, all pasta.
Mate, I mean, Dan's lasagna, fucking hell.
If you follow the page, you know that I just post pasta all the time, like because.
Would you say Italian's like your favourite cuisine to cook?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've always been a big like pasta's always the one thing that I've started cooking first, and then there was things like Chef where he does like all the pastas in that. I just wanted to. I was like, right, and it's the fact that everyone can make a pasta, but I like to kind of do it as traditional as possible. I don't want to, you know.
Mate, that's the one thing that I laugh at, because like from back home, like the cuisine is basically Italian cuisine.
Yeah.
So like everything, especially because of how close it is to Italy, like everything is bang on, pretty much authentic. And especially because like there's a lot of, like I said, there's a big influence. There's loads of Italian people there. The food is like spot on.
Yeah.
And you come to England and like you've got all these fucking Italian restaurants and they're all so wank, mate.
Yeah,
like they literally, like none of them are authentic.
Yeah.
Generally, the more I was saying,
if you go to any Italian restaurant and they put cream in the carbonara, it's wrong. Like, that's what I mean, like stuff like that.
It's proper basic English Italian food. It's pretty funny. I was saying that one of the two most authentic places I know that like do Italian food or Sicilian is Poco's.
Yeah.
Poco's is pretty bang on.
Yeah.
And then Echo's Pizzeria.
Do you know what? That's literally so close. I've walked past it almost every day at Burton. Still never been to it. Because they've got the big wood.
They're fucking expensive, but they're like, it's worth it. Like it is worth it. Like that is probably those two are the only places where I've been to in Leeds where it's like pretty authentic.
Rudy's.
No, I've not.
Oh mate, it's like a Manchester. I think it started in Manchester. Is
it like the green pizza man?
I can't remember what the logo is, but you basically, if you order it home, you get it half cooked. So you finish it at home. But honestly, bro, it's like Manchester. Because one of my mates from Manchester said, like, oh, they've got a Rudy's in Leeds now. So like, I managed to actually like get one, and that. Oh mate, it's
I need to get a Rudy's then. And also, it's fucking in Trinity. What's it called now? Oh, it's gonna fucking bug me. It's sourdough pizza in town. It's
inside the Trinity kitchen.
It's literally just outside where the ramp. You know where Byron Hamburgers is?
Yeah.
If you literally walk as if you're going towards Trinity, it's on the left.
Mate,
what the fuck's
it?
Yeah.
What's its name? It's not Mods, is it?
No.
It's a different one.
Oh mate, it's gonna bug me that. Tom, I reckon that's a quick Google search for you. Oh mate, what the fuck's the name for it?
I know exactly where it is though, because it's
sourdough pizza, Leeds City Centre. Tell me what comes up.
Pizza.
It's banging, mate. It's proper like.
Is it in Trinity?
Nah, it's just outside of Trinity. If you just search sourdough Leeds City Centre, Tom's being the young Jamie.
Yeah.
Franco Manca.
That's it, Franco Manca's. Yeah, mate. Honestly, you can. Yeah, mate. Honestly, you can. I swear down, for two people, you can go there. You can have starters, pizza, a bottle or two of wine.
Yeah. Like
50 quid, and it's like
banging,
mate. Like I rinsed it. You remember when there was the Eat Out to Help Out?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, mate. The most expensive pizza on there, on the normal menu, is like £8 something or £9. So imagine like a margarita was like £2.
Yeah.
And that's like fresh, like from like all the. I think the tomatoes are from Sicily.
Yeah.
It's the kitchen staff are Italian.
Yeah.
So it's like bang on.
Yeah. Do you know what? When you come back to tomatoes, it's like it's definitely when it comes to like a tomato base for a pizza or tomato like a tomatoey sauce for a pasta. It does actually
make a huge
difference.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of the things I got taught the most when it like comes to.
Because they're like pretty vital ingredients.
Yeah. Because if you've got like a proper tomato that's like proper, you know, like the San. I think in America they get San Marzano, but I don't think we can get them over here. But apparently that's their like the best when it comes to making like a tomato bass. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to music then.
Yeah.
When obviously you were saying you started like going into music at the same time you were getting into food.
Yeah, it was, right.
The music took off quicker for you, didn't it? Like in terms of like growing it.
Yeah, 100%. Because it was like around the time I was in college, I turned 18, so I started going out. And there's like one little bar. Well, it was called Bar 32, but we had like a little residency there. But actually, before any of that, sorry, I used to go a couple times, and then it was like, oh, this is sick. Like it was the first kind of dance music I got into, because back home in the Cumbria, like.
What was like your first rave that probably made you like?
Oh, do you know what, bro? Like, that was the only kind of clubbing that we did for ages,
For
because
that
I never
time.
used to leave Cumbria, because no one does.
Yeah.
So it was like when I first went to meet my mate when he started uni. I did like one event in Manchester at Albert Hall, and like I went there and I was like, yeah, I know I want to do this.
I've never been to Albert Hall. Apparently, it's a fucking mental venue.
I've only been once, and that was that one. But then I got a set of decks, you know, just a little controller of my mate Matt Reed, and like he was the one that kind of started teaching me how to like DJ and stuff like that. And then eventually I did get like one gig, because it was like one of my mates just kind of was like, oh, should we just do like a little rave, like a field, because everyone camps back home, and that was like the thing. And he did like a little event for like, I can't remember if it was like people leaving school or like sort of sixth form, so like.
Well, before you go to uni.
Yeah. So I did this one little rave once, and it was like bands all day, and then just me like doing like just on the decks afterwards. And then I was just like, like really basic, just like mixing and stuff. And then everyone was just like, yeah, you should do this. So I started doing a bit more. Did a couple more events with the same guy, and then we started doing illegal raves, like in like the mountains. In like Cumbria, so it was like we just set up in like a big car park. We did one, about 40 people turned up, because it was like the first one.
That's not a bad thing.
But the word of mouth got out that we did it, and then we did another one, and we did it under the name of like Scum Brian. Yeah, and then
why Scum Brian?
Because it's like Scumbrian.
Oh shit, yeah.
But like, yeah, so that was just like, and then we put it on Twitter, I think it was, and then I was at work, so like they all set it up, and then when I got to the end of my shift, I got a message like, Dan, you need to get up here, there's about 300 people there. And I was like, fuck, like, so I literally just went home, got dressed, and then like flew up, and then I'm not even joking, bro, there was like this like car park that could probably fit 100 people, and then it was just all the way down, and it's just in the middle of nowhere, so nobody got signal, nothing like that. So it went on all night, and then we did a few more, but the police did keep turning up or something. But we had like a proper rig. We had like 3 subwoofers, like 4 tops, and we literally just set up on like this makeshift table. And then we did that before I came to uni. But then when I came here, we kind of stopped doing that. But that was when I was like, right, I want to do music properly.
That's when it was like proper kicking off you first.
And then I got to uni, and obviously it's like, what is it, Little Fish, Big Pond?
Yeah.
So I kind of had like a bit of a reality check when I got in. I was like, right, I'm going to have to, it's a lot different to home.
Oh, mate.
It's like the music, the scene, everything. It was like a step up. So I just wanted to I knew, but when I first started leading Leeds, I was like, right, I need to kind of just not focus on music, because it's going to take a while to build that reputation. So I started working at Mint, Mint Warehouse, Mint Club, and that was just like.
Was that in your first year?
Yeah. So I just did it was like events in Leeds, and it was kind of like ticket selling and that.
Yeah.
Like nothing much.
But it gets you like that's when the networking starts.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I just started working for Mint, because it was through that like little event thing that I got the job, because they knew that I was like more. Because I was doing backrooms, so that's like R&B. I
can't imagine you working in backroom.
So I was like literally just standing on a corner trying to get people in, and I'm like, and then they were like, right, well, you're more into dance music, so we can probably get you in a Mint. So I did that, and then like literally just networking, and then eventually I met like people like James Howard, Kyle, all the Burton lot basically. And then when I met all of them, I got into like everyone was mixing, so we were just doing like little house parties and stuff like that. And then I remember. We just came up with the idea of Burton. It was like Shorik just
was that before you'd got into? Well, obviously it would have been when you were at Burton.
Yeah. So
how far into that first year did you?
So no, it was second year. Well, I was mixing in first year. I got like a couple.
I meant first year in Burton.
I got like maybe 1 gig in first year, and then
Where was it?
It was at Mint Warehouse, but it was through like we did like there was like a mixed competition thing, so it wasn't really like much. And then we did the Burton nights. We did one, and it was just kind of like, oh, we'll just get all like everyone from the house to just DJ and we'll just put an event on. And then that went well. And then obviously we started doing stuff like with Dimension, like me, Josh, and Kyle. We like did a trio as Burton. And then yeah, from there it literally just started picking up. Like people were actually starting to message us, "Oh, do you want to play a district? Do you want to play a 2-on-2?" So it went quite well in that aspect. But at this point, when I was learning stuff through my course, which is music technology, I was starting to proper make music. Like because I dabbled in music when I was at home, but I was making really basic stuff. And then when I came to uni and started actually learning like mixing and stuff through the course, I started to properly like
understand,
and then listening to all this different music that I'd never even heard before, like for these different like genres that I just never even like touched. I just spent a lot of time literally just listening to as much music as possible, and then through that I like started to make music that I'm actually now comfortable saying that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And then I made the In Your Face edit just before lockdown, and that was just kind of like a bit of a, you know, everyone was a bit depressed from COVID and stuff, and I was like, right, fuck it, I'll just do a free download, see how it goes. And then that song alone has made my music go so much farther. Like, yeah, I think that was just that. I was making it, and I was like, I think this is gonna be a hit. You know?
Something you get a good feeling. It's like,
yeah, honestly, the whole time I was making it. Sometimes when I make a tune, it's like I get really unmotivated, and I'm like, oh no, I can't finish it, or like it's different, you know. But then I made that, and it was literally from start to finish. I made it in like 24 hours.
Mad.
And I was like, right, nah, yeah, this is. I need to release this. So yeah, I released that, and I remember Blank reposted it, and then from there it's gone on every day. Just, you know, like
how many plays has it got?
33k from yesterday.
Fucking hell, that's impressive.
Yeah. So like that's what I mean.
For your first ever proper big tune.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, it was like I did a couple. I did like a little free download EP. I had one release on Lavo, which is like me, Josh Lee, and Motion Sky's like label. Did it for that, and then after that I did that, and then it was just, yeah.
So did you want to, when you started getting into music and you started like DJing and that?
Yeah.
Was it always from the beginning at the back of your mind that you wanted to make your own music? Or
yeah.
At the beginning,
yeah.
So it was like, because some people, they just love to mix and they kind of just, that's like enough for them. But for you, it was at the same time you wanted to mix, but at the same time you wanted to produce.
Well, so the reason why making your own music is good is because I feel like now there's that many people DJing and stuff like that. If you want to take it to like the next level, you need to be like. I feel like a lot of people get where they do because of, well, obviously they're good at mixing, but your music a lot. If you start producing your own music, that is what's gonna get you somewhere. Like, because you know, it's like if you're putting your own little sound on things, and then like people are playing your music, that's how you get your name out of like the smaller circle, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think like that's for me. I was like, right, like I'd love to just make my own music.
Yeah.
I was really interested in just how it was made and stuff like that when I started DJing, and I feel like everyone gets that. Like, when everyone I know, they've got into DJing and they've given it like they've been DJing for a few months, and then like they're like, oh no, I need to make my own music now. Like Kyle and Josh, do you know what I mean? Like they only started out mixing like really basically, but then now they're to a point where they just want to pick it up. But it's the same with a lot of people I know, and I think if you can really put the time and effort into it, then it'll pay off.
I definitely think like the whole Burton, like that's definitely helped all of you get like a proper good name, because obviously you're all good at what you do, but like Burton, like from when I met you, like since the whole time that I've known you, like especially in the Burton time, everyone, even people like who didn't really know, like everyone knew Burton was like the place.
Because it was like.
I'm not saying it because you're mates, but like I'm like you, Josh, Kyle, James, like, and fucking Kurt as well, Brad, like all you guys. I think from like someone that isn't too involved in the music scene, like you guys definitely, I think round Henley, like round these like last 3-4 years, you've definitely established yourself. And
it's
like,
just through word of mouth and stuff. It's putting these parties on that's like helped us.
Man, you seen like Saturday how many fucking people turned up? It was fucking crazy. I know. But so you guys are definitely on the right track. Like I say this to all of you, like I genuinely do think that in the next like 5-10 years, like you've definitely put yourself in a good position. But
100%. Because if there's people that I don't really know, or the first thing that comes up into conversation is either my ScranWithDan or or like, you know, Burton, because it's like everyone's like, oh yeah, like Burton boys, you know what I mean? It's good because like that's what I wanted.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good to have like that.
That's where you start.
Yeah, and then it was like, what was it? I can't remember what I was going to say.
That's alright. So Graham, tell me, what's your best experience of you playing a set, or your best gig you've ever played?
Best gig so far. I said this on like a little documentary thing I did a couple of weeks ago.
Where can they find that, by the way? If they want to give it a
there
watch.
is a so it's on TikTok, Creative and Nobles TikTok, but there is like a full length documentary that we did with there was another. I think that's coming out soon as well, and that's like more of a. I've seen it, and it's like a bigger sort of
project.
Yeah, and it's just about like Spotify and upcoming artists and like streaming and whether it's good for us and that sort of thing. So I said in there, my Mintfest gig was definitely like for me, Josh and Carl. I think
was that 2019?
2019, and it was
when
like,
you're in that fucking. That was sick.
Like what do you call them?
You call them the fucking things on cargo ships. Yeah, the container.
Container sort of thing.
They were going off me. That was a small stage as well. Like, it was hidden away.
Yeah, and the thing is though, I was kind of nervous that because I can't remember who we were clashing with, and I thought it was.
I think you went on after Borna.
This and that were on beforehand, and then afterwards it was like Gaskin and that. But I'm trying to think of who the headliner was that we were clashing with.
Oh, because it was Fuse. Yeah, it was Fuse. Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know, like I just want like it's gonna be like. Is it going to be busy? And like, because I think if it's busier, I kind of lose my focus a little bit. But it's like
nice one, Lewis.
But yeah, I think like my nerves were kind of getting to me a bit that day. But then when we got on there, like it just filled up because we knew quite a few people that were going in. Yeah. So it definitely.
And that shows as well, by the way. That shows like the loyalty that people have.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking to myself, like I feel like that was when we were playing. I kept saying to Josh, I was like, yeah, this is like the best like gig I've definitely played. Like, because back home there was busy nights, but it was nowhere near as like the energy at when you say it like a festival. It's like you can just play what you want, and everyone's loving it because you know what I mean. And
it's also a bigger stage.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd probably say that's up there.
Be mad seeing your name next to like all them people.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you Mintfest this?
No, not this year. No, if it goes ahead.
If it goes ahead, yeah, probably not.
Happen, yeah. But and then after that, I think we did I played at a Libero day party with Deck Hales, and I think even that was just like a day party.
Shout out Libero.
Yeah, shout out Libero. And it was just like that was a sick night. No, sorry, day and night for us. But I'm just sort of like doing those little gigs and that. It's just like it does help. So,
definitely.
Like so much for like, especially my confidence as well. Because before music and like cooking and stuff, like I wasn't a very confident person. Like I probably wouldn't be able to do this. Yeah. But I think through playing in front of all these people and like putting myself in the being a DJ is probably the most opposite thing to my comfort zone. But
because the attention's on you.
Yeah. 4 years ago, like I used to be like, before a set, I'd be shaking. I've got to have a couple of beers to like. Me out. But now, it's definitely got to a point where I can just, literally just for a couple minutes beforehand, just just really take deep breaths and just. Yeah, like my confidence has just completely changed.
And it's fucking great to hear that, mate. Yeah. Like that, I always say it's so important to find like your passion for something. I use fighting like to train, not even to fight. I've only had one fight, so I can't even say to actual fight. But just training and sparring and being in that element, like you can just switch off everything. And just like be in your element. And for you, that's obviously cooking and DJing, and it's so important whether it's fucking writing or whatever it is for people to find that, even if it's just a hobby that doesn't really get you anywhere, even if it's something that you do a couple of times a week after work just to lose your head, it's important to find that. What was your favourite nightclub experience in Leeds? Like not something that you played at
just ever. Right, so
because you are leaving that as well, you were still in Henley at Burton, but like this is the end of your experience in Henley in Leeds.
I think it might sound biased, but it's got to be Mint Club.
Oh,
obviously, everyone that's been to Mint Club knows that Mint Club was literally just one of the fucking best. Was one of the best clubs
in the UK as well.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
But then Mint Warehouse kind of like, well, obviously they had the renovation, and now that they've put the rainbow roof in there, if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go and experience it. Like,
well, I think it was the weekend that we went was like the last
we got 2 weekends going in there, and then it literally shut, and it was like, well, that's a fucking waste. But we'll be able to go there soon. I remember walking in, and I just like, we were looking at the.
It's like a big Mint Club.
Yeah, but we were looking at the new layout. They didn't have the rainbow roof on yet, but I looked at the ceiling. I was like, that's turning on tonight. I was like, that is going to turn on tonight. I'm telling you, like, what do you mean? I was like, that's the rainbow roof from Mint Club. And I think those 2 weekends alone, I could definitely say that like were one of the best experiences. I love church.
Oh man,
Leeds. That was a sick venue, but obviously that shut. They're all shut now.
Yeah, I know.
Everywhere's shutting. Beaverworks is shut. That was alright.
No, Beaverworks is open, I think.
No, not Beaverworks. Sorry, Canal Mills.
Oh, Canal Mills.
Yeah, because Beaverworks is.
I've never been to Beaverworks ever.
It's big.
I think we're going there tomorrow for the football.
Yeah. No, it's
proper ketty venue from what
there's like a really big room. There's a really big room. There's like an outdoors bit. There's like a little. It's like a really big area to like, and it's a lot of. I've only ever been once. I think it was like, it might have been Honey Dijon, Peggy Goo. I think it was Honey Dijon and Peggy Goo, and that was in like 2018. I've not been back since.
The Golden Team boxing gym.
Them
MMA gym.
Fuck. No, I definitely think for me it's gonna be Mint Club because like that was how I started. Like back home before I came to uni, like I was a bit of a good boy. Like I didn't really, like I used to go out clubbing and like get hammered and that, but like. Didn't really touch anything else. So it wasn't like I wasn't into electronic music or anything like that. Because at the time, like I was just going to like R&B clubs, or I was going to like shitty commercial house music, like David Guetta shit. Definitely different now.
Mate, we all did, don't we?
Yeah. And then like I came here, and the first event I went to was. It was an old school it was a baseline event. It was like Freaky Fridays at Mint Club.
Oh yeah.
And I got twisted, mate. Like first time I'd really done like MD and all that sort of stuff. It was a heavy dude, to be honest. But it was fucking unbelievable. Like I fell in love with like raving that night. And even though I don't listen to bassline now, like that night, like that club is always going to be the place for me that like set everything up. And I got the same goes for church. Like that venue was fucking.
It was sick, mate.
Unbelievable.
Like, obviously, the churches are built to have good acoustics. So like that, when you put a sound system in it. It just sounds mint.
Mate, they said they were shutting that down as well. I spoke about it on James's podcast, but like they said they were shutting it down to be a uni library, and they've literally not changed it at all. They just bought it just so they stopped doing fucking events there.
It's the same with Mint Club, because like the theatre owns Mint Club, and then they just wanted it back. I think they have turned it into something, but it's just
no one is the same.
They don't like having places like that open, do they? Well,
they don't.
It kind of shows with what the government's doing with like the whole Let's Dance.
Oh mate, that's a whole other thing. Like fucking hell, we could definitely touch up on that. What do you think? Being like involved in that not lifestyle in that sector, how everything's been handled. Like everyone around me knows what I think about everything that's gone on. But like the nightlife sector has been absolutely shagged, mate.
Do you know what it is though? I think my personal like thoughts on it. The music industry, like the dance music industry, has always been at the bottom of the government shit list.
Oh yeah,
like. They don't care, like, it just shows, like...
Well, they tried to make it, I'm pretty sure when Theresa May was in power, they tried, this is something Lewis told me, they passed a law that made repetitive beats illegal. Yeah,
no, well, that's the whole curfew thing, like, at night time, because it's like, I think it's the noise abatement law, but it's just, it was in, I think it must have been the 80s or the 90s, we did about it in, like, music and context module at uni, but it's like, when the whole rave scene came about, was it the 80s?
Yeah, I think it was the 80s. Yeah.
So like,
everyone on pingers.
Yeah, and they just that was the thing. They just blamed dance music for drug taking and stuff like that, and then they were just using that as an excuse to try and shut down like everything. And obviously there was a time where rave music kind of died out a lot in like the 90s and the early 2000s, and then obviously it started to just like pick up again, and now it's massive again.
Well, yeah.
But
it's bigger than it's ever been now.
Like because of how big it's become. I'm just. This is like
your opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, like I feel like the UK government are just trying to fucking.
Oh yeah.
Just knock it down just as much as they possibly can, because like there's all these dance protest that's going on in
and literally
in
nothing has been fucking reported.
Yeah.
Nothing. But it's just like that freedom of expression that people get. Like, it's the whole one rule for one and another rule for others. But like this last year, mate, the people in power globally, it's not even just England. Like, everyone's just seen it as an opportunity to fucking get money and to fucking have their own laws that they can enforce. Like, oh yeah, I'm the one fucking. It's just that weird power thing that people get with their egos. Like, you get it in fucking bouncers, you get in policemen. Like, they get this ego trip because, like, if you think as well, politicians, like, they've got so much fucking power. Like, every election, it's always the same bullshit. It's like, vote for me, I'm going to look out for you, we're going to do this for the community. And then they get into power and then fuck all happens. And then it's the same thing every fucking time, no matter how high they get. Because at the end of the day, and if the whole Matt Hancock thing's not proved it in the UK, like,
oh my God,
all they care about is money and sorting out their fucking friends. He's a fucking big muppet. But they all are, like, even Red or, like, I've lost, like, I said it a few times, but especially in the last year, I've just lost my faith in politics altogether. Like, the whole system just doesn't. Really. Red or blue, it doesn't make any difference because they're all going to do the same thing. They've all done the same thing. They've all fucked over the people in every fucking every what do you call it? Not generation. Every fucking cabinet reshuffle. Every re-election. So
is it the same as America? Did they have like 4 years? Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's either 4 or 5 years. It might be 5 years for Prime Minister.
But how Obama was that 8?
Yeah, it's 4 years. Yeah, but he won the re-election.
Oh that's what I mean. So it's like, is it similar to in the UK where like?
I think it's something similar. I'm not sure if it's 4 years exactly.
About politics, mate.
No, I don't. But then it gets that question. It's like, you can sit here and say the system's so broken and there's fucking so many problems with it, but what do you replace it with? There's not like a.
It definitely needs to be there, but I just feel like everyone's gonna have.
There needs to be more power to the people. That's all it is, and like the fact that, like, I always say it's so mad that we all can happily agree when it comes to like celebrity stories or stories in general that most of the time the media lie and the politicians lie, and we can gladly accept that. But then when it comes to the last year and the whole coronavirus report and anything that's been said by an official or been written about in the papers, people basically have taken, like, the majority of people have basically taken it for their word, and if you don't agree with it and if you don't fucking agree with the bias and the narrative, then you're shut down and you're thought as loopy because you're not believing the mainstream narrative. But like, everyone can accept, like, when it comes to footballers and like the low-key racism that's always put in the papers, like, it just fucking baffles my head. That's another thing. There needs to be, I think, some sort of a punishment, if you like, for fake news. Like, it needs to be filtered out. There's no way it can keep. How do you do it?
How do you get everyone on board with the idea of, because like, people can say fake news, but then they're like, well no, because it's on some like the main media, and it's like, well, because it's on the main media, you just believe anything that it says. And that's the thing.
Mate,
like,
the world is run on corruption and lies.
I know.
It's fucked when you actually think about it.
But then it's like stuff like the dance music and stuff that kind of keeps everyone's spirits up. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what I mean. Like, the last 2 days on Saturday and Sunday, you had the two protests for the freedom to dance and the Let's Dance. And, well, they were both kind of the same thing. Pat Wilson was. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff. He weren't too happy with the second one, because the one on Sunday, even though that was the bigger one,
it got shut down, doesn't it?
It weren't shut down, but it was more of like the police were letting it happen. It was like, they're like basically saying they were still basically encouraging, wear masks, get vaccinated and all this sort of shit. When the one on Saturday was just like a protest just for freedom and just to have more freedom back. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion on it. But you seen there were like 2 million people basically on both days on the streets, and you seen that the mainstream media didn't want to touch on it at all, because they know how threatening it is when there are that many people that are so obviously upset and angered at how the last year has gone. The whole pushing back, like, I think Sacha Lord tweeted something along the lines of like the 21st June pushing back. Cancelled like 100,000 events. That is fucking bonkers.
Think about how many people you know, or like how many events got announced for like June, and then
and think as well, even though they're announcing events, there's so much work that goes into putting on an event,
Yeah.
especially on a bigger scale. You've got a whole team of people, and as well, they didn't extend furlough as well, so they didn't expend any. So like, oh yeah, we're going to delay it for 4 weeks, but you're not going to get any more help.
Yeah.
When the nightlife sector's been shut for almost 500 days.
I know it is nothing. So many, and even
It's the third biggest income for the UK as well.
Yeah, but it's like, think about how much money, when you were saying just then about how much money goes into it and that. It's like, you've got to think you've got to pay the artists that you might, well, maybe the artists wouldn't have got paid for like the gig. There's all the money that people have bought tickets, but then they're probably going to have to refund maybe a third. Because if you think like there's going to be a lot of people that would keep the tickets, but then there's a lot of people that would
resell it, and then you've got the marketing team.
Yeah, and then it's just so like it's literally just fucked everyone over. And then obviously you've got DJs that like all the DJs and stuff. They're not getting any work, so that like unless they've got like a job, which I don't. Well, if you're like a touring DJ, then you don't. But there are some. Obviously, there's a lot, and it's mad because I think it's broke the spirit for a lot of people, because I know there is some people that have packed it in over COVID. There's a lot of people that got better over COVID because we've had all the time.
I think COVID in general for any just it's made you or broken you.
Yeah,
get it worked out.
And I feel like I think it was definitely important to, even though it was like a shit and depressing time, it was also, well, for me it was a good time to just, because everything was moving fast for me. Like the music was kind of stressing me out, but uni was stressing me out. And then it was like, even we had the time off, and then I just thought, right, well, if you're going to get any sort of positive side out of this, it was a good time to reflect on myself.
Yeah.
And it did, I managed to get a lot better with music. I managed to work on my confidence again. So I knew that like when we eventually do get back to it, I'm just going to be 10 times better for myself.
Definitely.
And it's bad because I can tell that there's a lot of people that were making music and they've just got infinitely better. And I just thought to myself like, oh mate, you're like, this person is making sick tunes now, but I can just tell it's because people had that time to just kind of get more time focused on, because a lot of people have got jobs and stuff, they don't have time to make music.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's so many factors from the last year that's helped out people. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of positives, but also probably a lot of negatives. There's a lot of
negatives. Obviously, it's been horrible and all.
Fuck the system and fuck the government.
But I feel like if you just spent the whole time being miserable, then you've wasted.
Well, that's kind of why, like, I started my podcast. Like, even though I started it only in January, like towards the end of everything, like I said, I had that revelation, if you like, in the last year. I was just like, what am I kind of doing? Like, I've been here for almost, well, at the time it was like 3 years. I was having fun, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you kind of just got to switch and be like, right, you got to find the balance of still being able to have fun, but then be productive, which is kind of why I wanted to do this. So I credit also lockdown for also helping me. Like, even though it was like I said, everyone was probably a bit depressed. Everyone went through shit. Like, but that's also life. That's also going to happen. You're going to get those ups and downs, and it definitely helped me in the last year and a half.
Yeah, and I think as well as another thing that like I was able to do was spend a lot more time for my hobbies, because I'm a big film person, but I wasn't big I always watch films. I've always watched film, but since I've had time to watch so many films, because obviously as much as I was being productive, I was just fucking but I've managed,
especially at the beginning,
I've managed to really get into that hobby, and like to the point where I'm really starting to enjoy it. Like I'm starting seeing the more of like the filming aspects and that sort of thing, and so it's like, for me that was a lot of time, even though it was, well, some people would say, oh, you wasted time watching films. That I've got. There's a lot, do you know what I mean?
Well, and especially because of everything being closed in the nightlife sector, you've now had all this time, so that when clubs do reopen, instead of, like, if say everything had just stayed open, like, your progression probably wouldn't have been as, like,
I can tell you now, big. I definitely wouldn't be in the situation music-wise that I feel like I am now, like, I'm like mixing and making music. If COVID hadn't happened, I probably would have still been stressing about getting better, but now that I've had the time to literally just spend doing mixes and stuff, which recently I've had a lot of opportunities to do mixes, like, because I think it might like be in my face head again, but like over lockdown I have done, like, there's a bit I'm still recording mixes at the moment for people, and it's like doing all those, I've managed to really work on my craft. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is, if I was to say there was like a positive thing, that's for me the most biggest thing for me that I'm happy about. So yeah.
So, tell me, where do you want to see ScranWithDan and your music in a couple of years?
Right, so ScranWithDan, when I move into my new house, I've got big ideas for it, but I'm not confident in doing that until I don't think I want to be in the food industry for much longer. Because the job I'm at now, I love it. It's a good place to work, which is Las Iguanas. Yeah, shout out. But spending that much time in the kitchen, I can't cook. I'm not even. I've not done ScranWithDan for a while since I've been back at work because it's so much work.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in like a year's time, definitely, I'm gonna spend. I want to move to YouTube, but I'm not saying anything else.
You gotta keep it.
So like until everything's in place, like that's all you get. But for music, definitely in at least 5 years' time, I think. Well, I'm confident. I've just put in the effort
the craft.
Yeah, and recently I've just been doing. I feel like I've been doing everything I can to ensure that I'm gonna get somewhere, because that is my main career goal. Definitely,
yeah, that's your part.
If I was gonna push anything more than it, like, I'm gonna just wait. Like, well, you never know. Cooking might pick up.
You never know.
But I definitely really want to push my music a lot more than anything, like 100%.
And Burton's obviously making a comeback.
Yeah, Burton's coming back. Don't want to say anything just about that yet. But hopefully by August, depending. Well, we've got a little game plan, but yeah, we just need to get it moving and stuff. But I've got I've got high hopes for it.
I do too. I think a lot of other people will as well.
Yeah.
Also, we've not organised it, but there might be a pause pod ScranWithDan barbecue.
Yeah. Eventually. No, but we are going to do that.
We need to. I think we could do something this summer.
Yeah.
It's just
we just need
sorting everything out.
Yeah, and it's also like I don't feel happy to be
with COVID. It's
COVID.
There's
so many laws and.
I know, mate.
I feel like if we did it in a time where it's all open, we could just do something.
It's definitely on the way at some point.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna do that.
Well, Dan.
Yeah.
I've had a pleasure chatting to you, lads.
Yeah, man.
I hope you've had a good time.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanna? What are your shout out your socials? Yeah, so my socials is Dan Barrientos music _ music for my music side, and then obviously at ScranWithDan on Instagram. But yeah, that's Dan the man, ScranWithDan, Dan Barrientos. That's a wrap.